Hi, in this video we are talking again about the HDC, but we're going to focus on priming, flushing, and infusing fluids right after this. Welcome back. My name is Tammy and this is Nurse Minder, and on this channel we do everything nursing. So if you're new here, consider subscribing below so that you get the next video when it's released. So here I have an HDC that's already been removed from its packaging, just so I can show you what it looks like. On the end here, this is where the needle is, but this is what stays inside your patient. It is a plastic flexible cathalon. And after we've pulled the needle out, what we're left with is a rubber stopper here. And we often will take this off to put on a neutral connector. But if you don't have these, I'm going to show you both ways today. So as a quick review, we're going to insert an HDC. There is another video on this. You can watch that as it pops up. This is just to use the injector pad and oversight. So I've got my HDC, my alcohol swab to clean, my tegaderm, and my neutral connector, and a pen to label. So I've already opened my packages. First thing we're going to do is swab. Remember that 30-second clean. Now because this is an injector pad, it doesn't dry nicely like skin does. So I'm just going to flip it over and we're going to use this side. Insert. And this is the part I wanted you to see. You see that it comes with the rubber stopper. I'm going to go ahead and date this. So with the magic of TV, I've just put in my already labeled HDC here. You can see it's got its tegaderm around. The cathalon is underneath the skin. My label is dated for today and it says Ondansetron 2 milligrams per mil. That means this HDC is specific only for that medication. I need to clamp off my line. And I still have my rubber stopper on. I'm going to show you how to work with this first in case where you work you do not have the neutral connectors. So what I need next is my medication, and I've tinted this blue so you can see it in action. I have a 3 ml syringe. I have my blunt fill needle and my plastic cannula, as well as my 2 cleaning swabs. So I've attached my blunt fill needle onto my 3 ml syringe and I've cleaned my multi-dose vial. I've checked to make sure I have Ondansetron, 2 milligrams per mil, 20 ml multi-dose vial. It expires in 2020. Now I know once I puncture this, it's only good for 28 days per the parenteral monogram, so I would need to put an opened on date so that we know when not to use it anymore. Let's look at our order for Ondansetron 4 milligrams sub-Q every 6 hours. It comes in a multi-dose vial at a concentration of 2 milligrams per mil. I need to find out how many mils I'm drawing up. Well, I know in 1 mil there's 2 milligrams. That's my available dose. And my ordered dose is 4 milligrams. Using dimensional analysis, you just cross off the milligrams. I have mils isolated, and now I can solve the equation. And I know I need to draw up 2 mils of medication. Now because this is a first insertion and a first medication admin, I need to consider my priming volume. Looking at this diagram, I can see that the HDC without the Y adapter requires 0.25 mils, and that is the style I'm using today. So I need to draw up an additional 0.25 mil for priming. Going back to my original math problem, I now know that I have 2 mils that makes 4 milligrams of medication, plus my prime means I will be drawing up 2.25 mils of medication. Now it is always best to get at eye level to do your medication draw. So I've gone ahead and already inserted my air. I'm now going to just pull back. It doesn't matter if you go past what you need. I'm going to make sure the air goes back in and I get to 2.25. Okay, so between 2 and 2.5, I've got my prime and my dose. So now we're going to go back to the HDC. So I have my medication here, my Ondansetron. I have 2.25 mils drawn up. But in order to access this rubber one, I can't use my blunt end needle. I actually need to put on the blunt plastic cannula. So we're going to open that next. And what we're going to do is just swap out the needle for the cannula. Make sure we clean. Don't forget your 30-second clean. And I'm going to fast forward for this video. And once the alcohol is dry, we can go ahead and prepare to insert the blunt end cannula into the rubber end. Once this is seated in, we're going to open up our line and infuse our medication. You see the medication is going in. And dispose of this. But what I want you to notice is that you see how this is now blue? That 0.25 mils is sitting inside this line, and the only medication my patient got was the 2 mils or the 4 milligrams inside the patient. So now, because this is a medication only, it's a specific to Ondansetron, the next time I go to give my medication, then all I need to draw up is the actual required dose. So in this case, 4 milligrams, 2 mils. Because I already have the line primed, I no longer need to calculate that additional medication. When I hook this in using my blunt end cannula, that will push in this medication that's already sitting in the line, and it will leave that 0.25 mils from this dose. Now, it is preferred to switch out to a neutral connector if possible. That means we're going to take this end off and replace it with this. So let's see what that looks like next. So now we're just going to remove the rubber cap, keeping the end of our neutral connector sterile. Switch this on. And that's it. Next, we will look at sites that are used for multiple medications or multiple concentrations. What's important to remember here is that all the medications that are used in the one HDC must be compatible. If you're going to give a medication through a site that's existing that is not dedicated, so it's either going to be unlabeled or it may be labeled multiple medications depending on your agency's policy, you do not need to flush previous, but you do need to flush post. So I've gone ahead and drawn up 4 milligrams, my 2 mils, and I simply will infuse that, and I have a flush and my alcohol swab. Complete a 30-second scrub and let air dry. Keeping this end sterile, we're going to disconnect now and simply attach to our neutral connector and infuse the medication. Disconnecting. Now you can see there's medication still in this line, and I need to flush that. I know from my policy there's 0.25 of a mil in here. So I've grabbed a 3 cc syringe and I'm just going to infuse half of a mil. So again, I need to clean it to access it. 30 seconds. I'm going to get rid of the air and attach. Looking at my plunger, I just need a small amount of saline. Line is clean. Lock it and release. When using an HDC for fluid replacement, the average rate is usually 20 to 80 mils per hour, although it can go faster, but you'll want to check your agency's policy. If you are preparing to use your HDC for fluid administration, you simply need to prime your bag, and I have a video link popping up for that, and then you attach it once it's primed and you start your infusion. You do not need to flush this prior to infusion, as it is only a 0.25 mil of air that would be going into the patient's body. Well, that's our lesson. So now that you've had the theory on how to insert an HDC and the sites to select and assessment of an HDC, combined with infusion and flushing, you're ready to rock. Until next time, make it a great day.